Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As well, tonight was WWE Survivor Series. Now, the show ended a couple hours ago, but there's been so much news coming out of this show that we had to cover that when it was breaking because, well, that's just how this channel works. Breaking news does the best. That's what you guys want. And yeah, we're here now. We're talking about the show. We're going to review the whole thing. We're going to give you everything we know on the CM Punk return and go from there. There's a lot to talk about here. Two great War Games matches, other really good matches on the show. The big return from R-Truth, Randy Orton, and CM Punk. I love Triple H. So Triple H is at the post-show press conference. He opened the press conference tonight instead of closing it like he normally does. And he goes, well, so I guess we got to talk about that huge return tonight. What do you guys think about R-Truth? Great laugh from everybody in there. And yeah. So we got 3 returns technically tonight on the show, which is great to see. Love seeing all them back. I've missed R-Truth so much. I like CM Punk and WWE. I like Randy Orton back. I mean, Randy Orton and CM Punk are my top 5 all-time favorite. If you ask me right now who my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time are, I would say Bryan Danielson, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, CM Punk, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those are my 5 favorite wrestlers ever. And so to have 2 return to WWE tonight, 1 return after being gone since 2014, almost 10 years, and then another return after a year and a half of being out with an injury, wild. Just wild. Crazy, cool, awesome. Oh, hell yeah. But there's so much to unpack here. I don't know how we do this. I'm going to let you guys decide in the chat while I go through the rigmarole. Do you guys want me to talk all the CM Punk news first and what we know about CM Punk's return, or save that to the end? Also, remember, you guys can call into the show and give me your thoughts as well at the end of the show. You can call into 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. The number will be down here on the ticker periodically throughout the show. So let me know, you want me to talk the Punk stuff first, or do you want me to talk the Punk stuff last? We get everything else situated. So with that, a lot to talk about. Whew. Thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, head over to YouTube, hit that join button, become a channel member, and if you don't want to do that, at least subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Also, remember, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game like Alan Wake 2, an old game like Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart, claiming the free games, which right now are Deliver Us from Mars, or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Fortnite's got their new big season next weekend. The big Eminem concert event is going to drop as well. You may want to get into that with that battle pass. Also, Disney Speedstorm is free on the Epic Game Store, and they're starting their next season, Frozen Let It Go, when claiming any of that stuff. Whether you're just getting the game for free or getting bucks for the game, use this code, PWU NLIMITED, for all your Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Looks like the chat's consensus, they want Punk news first. So let me pull up. There are 2 things we need to read from. One from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, and another from Fightful. So we're going to pull up the PW Insider article first. We're going to read what Mike Johnson wrote. If you guys haven't heard, CM Punk is back. I'll tell you what Triple H said in the press conference. Triple H said, we listen to our fans and we give them what they want. Basically saying the fans wanted Punk, we brought back Punk. He also said that talks went quick. This whole deal came together very quickly. He noted, and hold on, I'm going to read PWU Insider. No, it's F4W Online has a write-up of exactly what Triple H said. I don't want to misconstrue or say anything wrong. So this write-up just come from Brian Rose of F4W Online, who states, quote, at the Survivor Series press conference on Saturday, Triple H said that the deal to bring Punk back to WWE happened, quote, super quick, saying that by the time people stopped speculating on his return, that was when everything came together. Quote, this came together super quick. There was a lot of speculation. It really didn't come into fruition until everybody stopped talking. Everybody stopped thinking it was going to happen. Then, all of a sudden, it was happening. Love him, hate him, positive, negative. People talk about him all the time. He's a magnet for that. He's a conversation starter. And it's hard to look past that. If our fans want it, if the WWE Universe is excited to have it, let's go. Triple H also said that he and Punk were different people, alluding to Punk's departure from WWE in 2014 that ended on bad terms. He said, I'm a different person. He's a different person. It's a different company. We're all on the same even starting ground. Basically what Triple H said here was, that was like 10 years ago, and people change, and you can give them a second chance. When a reporter asked, I think it was Nick Hausman asked this, who pushed for this, whether that was Triple H or TKO, Triple H was like, well, first off, me and Nick Khan run this company. There ain't no other secret special entity telling us what to do. And past that, no one else really knew that this was happening. Basically what he's saying is he, Nick Khan, and maybe a handful of others, if that, knew that this was going to happen. So, great secret here. Triple H says that it came together super quick. And according to Sean Ross Sapp Fightful, he said a talk happened about a week ago, or within the last week, that really started this all in motion. We'll read that here in a moment. But first, we're going to read up the write-up from Mike Johnson over at PWU Insider. People are saying Raw's going to be interesting. Raw's a must-watch. We don't know. What if Punk is on Fox and SmackDown and we have to wait till goddamn Friday? That's my fear, because I want Punk back now. I want Punk on Monday, and I want to hear what he has to say. Like, opening the show. You have to. But what if he's on SmackDown and they wait till Friday? Now, granted, according to Kermit on Reddit, Punk is going to work Rollins at the Royal Rumble, so that would assume Raw. Actually, we'll read that really fast. Kermit on Reddit, who has, you might say, Kermit, what the what? Kermit on Reddit has actually been very correct in the past with some of their information on WWE stuff, and they state more on Rollins' reaction and spoilers return. Spoiler as far as CM Punk. Talent were told ahead of time. Rollins is working and is lined up to face Punk at the Rumble. So we'll see if that comes to fruition, but yeah, we'll see. Remember, Punk's lost a belt the Rumble before. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Go back to the Mike Johnson article. So Johnson writes, quote, as the entire wrestling world saw, former WWE, Ring of Honor, and AEW champion CM Punk officially returned to WWE tonight at the 2023 Survivor Series in Punk's hometown of Chicago, Illinois. PWInsider.com was told tonight after the show by WWE sources that the deal between the two sides is believed to be, quote, several years in length, and that the company and Punk had their first communications over the last week. We're told that once the ice was broken, the deal came together rather quickly and is being seen by the WWE side as a, quote, new beginning. That falls in line with what Triple H said. Based on what was inferred to PW Insider, the two sides actually came to terms officially at some point today. We were also told there was thought to put into holding Punk's return until the Royal Rumble in Florida this January, but the feeling, based on those we've spoken with, is that the longer they waited to unveil Punk, the more likely word would spread within WWE about the plans, leading to a far more likely chance of those plans leaking. Instead, WWE rushed Punk's return in a scenario where he could drive 20 minutes or so from his home in Chicago. to the Allstate Arena. Slip in at the last second for a cameo, which blew the roof off the building. Well, there was conjecture Punk would be appearing tonight. Obviously, we are told that nothing was officially locked in until today. My belief is he won't work in a full-time schedule, but no one in WWE has confirmed that to me at this point. He will be wrestling. So Punk is wrestling, again, according to Kermit. Punk's working Seth at the Rumble. So then Mike Johnson goes on and just talks about CM Punk returning and just his history in wrestling since 2014. So looks like, now, take this how you want, but I read this as Punk showed up during the show. They got lucky that they were in Chicago with this show. Punk returned tonight. And basically what it sounds like is towards the end of the show is when he showed up, and then they, boom, got him in there and got him out there. Fightful wrote the following, though. They have a little more on this as well. CM Punk returned at Survivor Series at the end of the show in a closely guarded and quickly put together secret. Fightful was told on November 19th that CM Punk and Triple H had a productive, hour-long conversation that mended fences between the two. Word from Punk's side of the conversation reflected that of what Triple H said at the post-show press conference. Fightful has posted in our Punk FAQ that Punk had claimed that there were some conversations. To clarify, at the time, the Punk/Triple H conversation was single-sourced and not appropriate to run. We did note to WWE reps the information we'd heard in an effort to confirm it. So, and I'll go to that really fast, what Fightful wrote in their FAQ on CM Punk. So they did write, and now we know that this here that I'm about to read to you is in reference of CM Punk, or of Triple H, because they wrote, let me pull that FAQ up really fast. I don't see it anymore. Did Sean pull it down, or was it posted? Here it is. It was WWE claim. No. Punk's claim to friends is that he, no, that's not the right one. Where is it? Let me find it really fast. Punk told at least one person close to him that he was speaking with a WWE higher up recently, but no context to the conversation was provided. So there we go. That is the Triple H conversation. Back to what Sean wrote in Fightful. It's not just Sean. Triple H confirmed Fightful's previous reports that talks had not happened between the two sides until rumors heavily died down, and it actually didn't look like a deal was happening. At the post-show presser, Triple H said that any reports of a deal prior were purely speculation, and that it came together very quickly. WWE confirmed the official agreement happened today, and sources near Punk claimed that as of Saturday morning, no contract was signed. So now I just want to address something after reading that. All you dang marks in my Twitter mentions and my DMs going, I told you days ago, I told you this morning, I told you all day, Punk was returning, I told you. You didn't tell me god dang nothing. Because nobody knew. Like the Grimm's Toy Show guy. No one wanted to believe me when I said days ago Punk was returning. Punk wasn't returning days ago, you god dang bloke. Fightful continues. Punk had told select people close to him that he was returning. Minutes before Punk appeared, a section of backstage was cleared out. Punk was seen in plain sight. We're told that Triple H took over producing the show himself at that point, called for the copyright graphic, and then also personally called for CM Punk's music to hit, per Corey Brennan of Fightful. Producers, referees, staff, talent, and even head writers on the creative team were not told. Fightful's Corey Brennan had heard word that Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, and Michael Hayes needed to discuss a change to the main event, but we weren't told specifically if that was Punk related. As it pertains to the main event talent being upset, there are numerous talent on the roster in general upset, just as there are excited, curious, and even emotion. And every emotion. Talent were pulled aside before the War Games match and told that CM Punk would be returning at the conclusion of the show. At least one talent claimed legitimately to be upset by the return of Punk, and both Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins look visibly angry. We haven't confirmed whether or not those were actual reactions, but they were at least claimed to be for obvious reasons. Seth Rollins had to be restrained by Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and others. Backstage, Seth Rollins was in Gorilla and had to be ushered away by Triple H and Michael Cole as he was looking for Punk. We're told that Punk looked confused and it was an awkward scene. Now that's interesting. So Rollins wasn't selling? That was a shoot? He was really mad? He knew beforehand, and then when Punk came out, he got pissed? So that's the thing there. It sounds like, and I'll read this again, Seth had to be restrained by Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and others backstage. Seth Rollins was in Gorilla and had to be ushered away by Triple H and Michael Cole as he was looking for CM Punk. Now, WWE cameras are always rolling backstage, so that could be all part of the show, all part of what we maybe see on Monday in some video package, or over the weekend maybe in some video package to hype up possibly CM Punk and Seth Rollins at Royal Rumble. Now here's another interesting one. Drew McIntyre was said to be visibly upset backstage, leaving the venue, slamming the locker room door, and cursing as he left. When people close to McIntyre checked on him, he confirmed it was connected to CM Punk's return, and it wasn't part of a work, and that he was selling to the... It wasn't part of a work, and that he was selling to the back to maintain some professionalism. Not sure what that fully means, because so he's selling. So that means the Drew stuff, wasn't part of a work. I may have to hit up Sean on this just to clarify what this means. Wasn't part of a work, and that he was selling to the back to maintain some professionalism. So he was legit upset about Punk. Due to the nature of the situation and pro wrestling, obviously, we're cognizant of the possibility of both of these being a work. WWE reiterated that any perceived references from the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura or on commentary were not with the knowledge this deal was in place. Quote, whether it be Nakamura, USA Network Twitter account, or any that said he was coming back prior to last week, none of them knew because Punk didn't know, said one source close to Punk. Quote, he even said himself that nobody claiming that they knew the situation fully really did. There was one top talent that told Fightful that they understood the surprise aspect of the situation, but felt like Triple H could lose some trust among many people that he worked to build it with. The reactions weren't all negative. We're told that the reaction of some were filmed for possibly digital content, and there were at least a couple of CM Punk's old friends that greeted him upon returning backstage. So there we go. I don't know exactly what all that final stuff means, returning backstage. So maybe I don't know, some people that he worked with 10 years ago in WWE that are still there, we're happy to see him. Or maybe people that he's become friends with since or whatever. I don't know what that last part is. Take it how you want. So I'm going to look over the chat really fast to see if you guys have any other questions. Josh in the Twitch chat says, I think it means that he was selling till he got backstage in front of the audience. Yeah, I don't know. Because that line, I might have to hit up Sean after this and just get some clarification before I do say anything more out of context. Because I'm going to read it again. When people close to McIntyre checked on him, he confirmed it was connected to the CM Punk return and that it wasn't part of a work. A work would mean that he is in storyline upset about this. But then the thing that gets me, selling. You're selling, isn't that part of storyline? And that he was selling to the back to maintain some professionalism. So maybe that means that selling as far as not making it look like at first that it was Punk related, just so he didn't cause any other problems and just didn't want to be there anymore and left. Because the word is he stormed to the back, slammed the locker room door, put a hoodie on, grabbed his stuff and left. So I think that's what the selling means. Selling not being as mad, I don't know. So, yeah. We'll see where all this goes. We'll see where all this really means. But as far as what it looks like, Punk is back. Punk is probably going to be on Raw and might be working Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble. So, yeah. How about that return? How about that shocking twist? And here's the other thing that made this a lot easier for Triple H to keep a secret. They already had all these CM Punk, the music and the graphics and everything set. He didn't have to go to them and go, hey, so like with Cody, we got this guy named CM Punk coming in. We need graphics and music. With Cody, they had to make graphics. So someone other than like Top Brass knew, the graphics guy at least, and somebody in production. This was more like, hey, hit the CM Punk stuff. Pull that up on the computer and go. So, yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. That does overshadow a great show that we saw, though. I loved the show tonight. I thought every match was good. I enjoyed the whole thing. Heck, even Miz was really good tonight. Miz had a great match with Gunther, and Gunther acknowledged it in the press conference. He was like, Miz really did show me that he deserves to be in the ring, just not with me. I thought that was really funny, but I probably you will get more news tonight, tomorrow, Monday, going into Raw, and we'll see when we see Punk next. But that's not what this show's about. This show's about Survivor Series. So let's talk about Survivor Series. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by calling or texting into 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. Number's right there on the screen. It will be there throughout the show. As far as the show does go, though, show kicked off with the Women's War Games match. We learned that due to a Ruffles fan vote, yes, a Ruffles fan vote, the babyfaces would have the man advantage. The babyfaces came out first. Then Damage Control came out wearing some like Japanese karate kabuki mask that reminded me of Three Ninjas. Great movie, all of them. Mainly the first two. Kickback, no. Which one's the one that they go to Tokyo? Kickback, right? Yeah. Three Ninjas Kickback. That's my favorite one. And they go to Tokyo. I also had the game for that on Super Nintendo. Great movie. Great movie. The best one, but they're all really good. Except for the Hogan one, High Noon Mountain. That movie sucked. Three Ninjas at High Noon Mountain. They recast all the kids, and yeah. Granted, most of the kids were recast in every movie except for Colt, but. So, Becky Lynch and Bayley started off the match. Bayley suplexed Lynch onto the metal plate between the two rings, but Lynch suplexed Bayley into the cage and applied to disarm her. Dakota Kai showed up at ringside and hit Lynch with a kendo stick to break it up. She then handed the kendo stick to Bayley, who used it on Lynch. The crowd chanted for tables less than 5 minutes into the match. Shotzi would enter next, and the crowd cheered as she looked under the ring, but they booed because she didn't grab a table and instead shoved chairs and a trash can into the ring. Also, Triple H stated on Shotzi in the press conference, he said, Shotzi had a star-making performance last night and proved that she deserves to be up there with the top women in this company like everybody else in this match. He's like, Shotzi proved her worth tonight. She really did. James Beasley says, do you play NES? Not as much anymore. I'll sometimes throw on Super Mario All-Stars and play Super Mario World or Super Mario 2 or 3, but other than that, that's about it. Shotzi came in, threw a bunch of stuff in the ring. Bayley tried to escape the cage, which the announcers noted would be a forfeit, and Shotzi and Lynch brought her down. Io Sky then entered next. Cole noted that this was her 5th War Games match and was the most in WWE history. Crowd cheered for a moment as she also looked under the ring, but then brought out a steel chain, not a table. Sky wiped out her opponents with a springboard double drop kick before Sky and Bayley hit Lynch with a double superplex. Now, in next will be Bianca Belair. She had her hair in 2 braids tonight instead of 1. She didn't bring a weapon in the ring, but she did bring weapons in the ring. Her braids. Bayley and Sky tried to yank Belair off the top by her braids, but she did a backflip and hit them with a double superplex. Cool spot. Kairi Sane then came in next. The crowd chanted for tables, and Sane grabbed, a trash can lid instead, and then looked around at the crowd and was like, trash can lid? Yeah. Even though the babyfaces were in control and had the numbers advantage, Sane was able to take them down one at a time. Damage control then buries Shotzi under some chairs. Sky launched Sane into the air, and she hit an elbow on Shotzi. Belair then press slammed Sane into her partners. Damage control regained the advantage by using some chairs. Charlotte Flair entered next, and she handed out chops. She didn't even look under the ring. She just got in the ring. She's just like, I don't need a weapon. Charlotte slammed Sky into the cage, and Sky slid down and landed awkwardly on her tailbone. Charlotte also hit Sane and Bayley with a double natural selection blockbuster off the top rope. Lynch and Charlotte faced off, and Damage Control used the distraction to attack them. Like, not really faced off, but they looked at each other and like, oh, can we trust each other? Which they can. Sky went to the top of the cage and dropped one end of the chain down to Kai, who tied it to a trash can. Sky then pulled the trash can up and placed it on top of her. Sky then stood at the top of the cage with the trash can on her. Her hands began sweating. Sky placed the trash can over her body and did a flying crossbody onto everybody. Like, holy crap. Crowd chanted, holy shit. Asuka then entered last with everybody down. The crowd cheered as she went under the ring, but she pulled out some kendo sticks. Crowd booed. Asuka did pull out a table next, and the crowd cheered. She also grabbed a fire extinguisher, which came into play later. Against her, actually. Damage Control chained Lynch and Belair together, and all four team members drop-kicked them simultaneously. Asuka blew mist in Shotzi's face and hit a missile dropkick on Lynch, who was inside a trash can. She got a 2 off of it. Lynch and Belair powerbombed 2 opponents out of the corner. Charlotte went to the top of the cage and hit a moonsault on all 4 members of Damage Control. Io Sky caught the worst of this, as Charlotte predictably didn't exactly land gracefully. Charlotte covered Bayley for a 2. So Charlotte was asked at the press conference, you're the only woman in this match that had never been in War Games before. What was your preparation going into it, and what was something you really wanted to do? And Charlotte was just like, well, I really wanted to do that moonsault off the top. That's what I wanted to do, and I got to do it, so I'm happy. Also at the press conference, Becky looked like she got messed up in this match. Butterfly stitches on her eyebrow, lump right here between her eyes, and it looked like she had a couple cuts on her cheek. Charlotte and Lynch then did a double team move, and then a big hug. They talked about, hey, we're friends again, maybe. That was legit. That was genuine. Lynch really played it up as a big moment. They then got attacked from behind again, but each managed to apply their submissions. Sane tried an elbow drop, but Lynch countered with a disarm her. Well, first she got the knees up and then countered with a disarm her. Bayley broke that up with the knee strikes. Belair then put Asuka on her shoulders, and Shotzi hit a nice missile dropkick, but Bayley broke up the cover. They traded some moves before Belair sprayed the fire extinguisher in Asuka's face. Sane killed Shotzi with a trash can lid. Charlotte then went to spear Sane, but Bayley took the bullet and ate the spear. Shotzi hit Bayley with a senton, and Bayley hit her with a KOD. Shotzi hit Bayley with a senton. I wrote this weird. And then hit Bayley with a KOD. Belair then handed Bayley to Lynch, who put her through a table from the second rope with a manhandle slam, and then pinned her to pick up the victory. So there we go. Lynch, Belair, Shotzi, and Charlotte celebrate on the top of the cage. And there we go. Yep. Cole put over that Lynch and Charlotte are finally back on the same page. I thought this was a great match. I thought this match was so much fun. It was awesome. The match itself went, let's pull up the wiki so we can get the times. Match itself in 33 minutes and 35 seconds. Give me 1 second. I want to look at something really fast. Fightful may have been wrong on one of their reports. Because Fightful said that the main event was supposed to be like 45 minutes, I think is what they said. Let me double check that. Because it didn't. They said, men's War Games is set for 45 minutes. Women's was 35. So, 35, 15, 12, 12, 45. 35. Nope. None of these matches went the time that Fightful reported. They said the main event was supposed to go 45 minutes, or was given 45 minutes. It went 34. Now, that could be given 45 counting intros. Like, yeah, could be that, though. So then this was interesting. Jey Uso met with Sami Zayn in the back, and Sami's like, hey, Jey, Randy isn't here yet. Jay's like, yeah, I was worried about this. Why would you think Randy would even want to come team with me anyways? You remember what happened last time we saw him? Me and my brother took him out, put him on the shelf. Why would he want to team with me? Zayn's like, hey, remember last year when we were fighting and we were in war games and everything went down? Now we're cool. My dog. So things could change. And he's like, yeah, I really hope so. And then he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. And this did play up in the match. And then Jey went to walk away, and Sam was like, hey, let me know if you hear anything. And Jay's like, yeah, let me know if you hear anything. So playing up the Randy's not there. They played this up all the way till the match started, even though we saw Randy's wife in the front row a couple times. So then Michael Cole says, if Miz wins tonight, he'll become a 9-time Intercontinental Champion, tying, he said the name, Chris Jericho as most reigns as Intercontinental Champion. He also noted that Gunther has been champion for 533 days consecutively. All 8 of the Miz's reigns only equal to 592 days. Cole also said later that Edge was on the list of great IC champions. But yeah, so it looks like Miz has held the title 8 times, combined 592. Gunther's going to beat that in one reign. I think, because some have gone, oh, well, Gunther's got the longest reign of anybody. Does that make him the greatest? But then some go, well, Miz and Jericho, both 8-time champions. Does that make them the greatest? One of them. I think if Gunther not only, and I want to look at something really fast. If Gunther not only holds the title longer than Miz's 8 reigns, I think that makes him the greatest. I want to see how long Jericho's 9 reigns were. So, Intercontinental Championship. Let's see. List of Intercontinental Champions. Jericho. Let's go down to length. No way. No way. Jericho's combined 9. 318 days. Wow. It's combined 9. Well, actually, 318, but only 311 recognized by WWE. Wow. 9 reigns. Well, let me look at some of these then. So, Jericho's first reign as the champion was for 22 days. Then he had it again for 20 days. Then again for 35 days. Then again for 6, 72, 14, less than a day in 2003. It looks like he... What? Beat RVD for the belt and then lost to RVD that same night. I don't remember that, but okay. Then a year later, 37 days. Then in 2008, he won it for 111 days. And then in 2009, he won it for 21 days. That was his last reign. As far as the match goes, great match. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this match. Match itself went 12 minutes and 20 seconds. The Miz chopped Gunther just to irritate him. Gunther dropped Miz with the chop. Miz fought back, but his strikes didn't do much to affect the champion. However, Miz tripped Gunther while outside the ring and drove his leg onto the edge of the ring. Miz also applied the Bret Hart figure 4 around the post and really took down the big man for a little while there. Miz tried a springboard move, but Gunther just booted him out of midair. Gunther then took over from there and kept cutting off Miz's offense. Gunther gloated to the crowd, and they booed him, which is very interesting. Miz managed to fight back, again targeting the leg, but really not doing much damage. Gunther sold a little bit, and Miz continued to use the kicks, this time to Gunther's chest, and that actually did bring him down a little. Miz then followed this up with the Tilt-A-Whirl DDT for a 2. Gunther then countered a skull-crushing finale and hit a drop kick and a powerbomb for a 2. Gunther applied a sleeper as Miz accidentally, on purpose, yanked the turnbuckle pad off. Miz then kicked Gunther in the nuts when the referee was trying to fix it, hit the skull-crushing finale, and almost pinned Gunther. Got the crowd in. I will say, got the crowd thinking that could have been the finish. And at the same time, I'm like, he's got to kick out, right? He's got to kick out. He's got to go. Oh, he kicked out. So, like, I didn't think The Miz was winning there, but there was something in me going, holy crap, are they really going to do this right now? So, the ref actually didn't fix it. And Miz drove Gunther into it and applied a cradle for another near fall. Gunther then clotheslined Miz, splashed his back, and applied a Boston Crab. Gunther transitioned the crab into a lion tamer, and the Miz tapped out. So there we go. Gunther retains the Intercontinental Championship. So as we move forward, we then got a credit card commercial with Jey Uso and Liv Morgan. Jey thought living large, which meant you had to buy large items, and Liv's like, no, you really don't. And then he ordered a large pizza. The male members of Judgment Day met in the back. Dominic Mysterio heard that Orton wouldn't be there. Finn Balor said that they were good either way. Either Orton wouldn't be there, or he would show up and poison his team from the inside. Damian Priest left to let Drew McIntyre know what was going on and what the plan was. Now, this is weird because there were reports coming out today, or not reports, but people on Twitter going, so I've heard Randy's not there. So I've heard Orton isn't there. Oh my God, only 9 people are practicing in the ring. Where's the 10th? Where's Randy Orton? Randy's not there. Yet, in the middle of the day, they did a live Fanatics auction. That was a whole thing. Where they auctioned off a canvas art of the Survivor Series logo with some graphics on it or whatever. And every man in that War Games match signed it, including Randy Orton. They're not forging Orton's signature on this, I don't think. But yeah, so when them doing the whole Randy's not here, or people on Twitter hours before the show this morning going, I've heard from a source that Randy's not there. I heard Randy's not going to show up. He hasn't been cleared. He's there. He was there. We saw him there. But even regardless, I was able to prove it before because he signed the art piece, the canvas that got auctioned off. Also, if you haven't seen it, Rhea Ripley autographed a piece of paper and then licked the piece of paper, and it sold for $580. No joke. Go watch it on the Up, Down, Down channel. There's a Tyler Breeze thing on there where they do the live auction. And literally, it was Woods signed a piece of paper first. They want to see whose autograph would go for more. So Woods signs the piece of paper. His went for $116, $117. Kofi signs a piece of paper. His goes for $97. So then they go, well, you think Rhea can beat that? And they're like, yeah, probably. And then he's like, well, what about together? What would that be? And Woods goes, math. I laughed so hard. And they're like, yes, that's math. And then someone did the math, and it was, I forget what it was. It was 116 or 117 plus 97, 214. They're like, well, so we'll see if Rhea can beat 214. And so they give Rhea the paper. They say, the auction is now open. The item is now available. She goes to open the pen. She writes M-A-M. And Tyler Breeze goes, she hasn't even written anything. She hasn't signed the paper, and she already got $170. So she writes, Mommy is always on top, signs it Rhea Ripley, and then writes, I licked here, and puts an arrow. And Woods goes, what does that say? Does that say I licked here? She grabs the piece of paper, licks it, and they all just lose their minds. It gets to $550, and Woods goes, you can't sell your spit for $600? Or he's like, you can't sell your spit for $600, like saying it won't get to $600. And she goes, he goes, don't do it. And she goes, hey, anyone got a bottle? Like she's willing to auction off her spit in a bottle. Like, Jesus freaking Christ. Anyways, fun times, fun moment. It's on the Up Up Down Down channel if you want to go watch it. She licks the piece of paper, and it's sold for $580. Michael Cole talks about memorable debuts at Survivor Series, like Kurt Angle, The Rock, The Undertaker, The Shield, and Sting. In there, he mentions Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose. Then we got a great match, super fun. The short little 8-minute match, 8.5. Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. Escobar was in control from the get-go, but Dragon Lee leaped over the top and brought Escobar down with a Hurricane Rana to the outside. Dragon Lee followed us up the flip dive, and the crowd chanted for him. Lee went to the top, and Escobar met him and brought him down with a Hurricane Rana for a 2. A frustrated Escobar aggressively ripped at the mask of Dragon Lee, and the crowd chanted, "Asshole." I think they were chanting culero, which means asshole, I think is what I saw someone say on Twitter. Dragon Lee came back later with a double foot stomp off the top for a 2. Escobar dropped him with a super kick. They traded knee strikes before Dragon Lee showed off his strength and hit a sit-out powerbomb for a 2. Dragon Lee went for something, but Escobar countered into a Canadian Destroyer, hit the Phantom Driver, and then got the abrupt pin to pick up the win. This did feel like it just ended out of nowhere, which is my one gripe, because I felt like, I'm like, this match is going good. This match is going good. Oh, Canadian Destroyer, what's next? What's next? And then it just ends. And I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. So, great match that I felt like did have a weird finish because it just ended. But for the most part, I thought this was a great match on the pay-per-view. We got a LA Knight Slim Jim commercial. And then we see the New Day stole LA Knight's Slim Jim car. New Day arrived. They honked their horn to the New Day chant. We see Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre talking in the background. And then Woods and Kingston said they were happy to have some Slim Jims. And then the next match is presented by Slim Jim. It's the Women's World Championship match. Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark. Match itself went 9 to 9.5 minutes. Not a bad match. There was a couple clunky spots. And there was one spot off the top rope where I'm like, what? Was Zoe supposed to land on her feet or what? I don't know. But regardless, Cole did make it seem like Stark put up a hell of a fight, but that's not how it really came across. Like, she got offense in. She'd hit 1 or 2 moves, and then Rhea would just knock her out. And then she'd hit a couple moves, and Rhea would knock her back out. Basically, she would hit some stuff to piss off Rhea, and Rhea would beat her ass. Ripley dominated early on, and Stark got some offense in, but everybody liked Ripley, and Stark didn't get much of a reaction, unlike The Miz earlier against Gunther. There were some odd spots, like one where it looked like Ripley was going to chokeslam Stark off the top rope, and then she did like a front twist back handspring flip deal, buck a jig. I don't even know what to call it. Off the top rope and landed weird. Maybe she was supposed to land on her feet. I don't know. The two then kind of stopped and looked at each other. And then Zoe kicked her in the face. Well, Ripley was on offense. Stark dared Ripley to hit her. She did the whole, "Oh, you're hurting me. Well, hit me again." And so Rhea kicks her right in the goddamn face. Stark did counter a riptide at one point and hit a German suplex. Ripley countered a Z360 and hit a headbutt. Followed this up the riptide and pinned her to pick up the win. Again, another good match. Probably would have been better given a little more time on TV or something. Maybe you could have gave it 15 on TV. But I think this was the weakest match of the show. I will say that. And I will say, crowd loves Rhea Ripley. I was told by somebody there live that Rhea came off during her entrance and whatnot just as a megastar, probably one of the biggest stars in all of pro wrestling right now, is the way that she came off to the crowd. Then we're getting ready for our main event, and Cody approaches Seth, Jay, and Sammy. He's like, "So Randy's still not here. I know. This is on me. But I assure you, Randy won't let us down. Randy will be here." Rollins and Jay weren't quite too sure. Zayn was then like, "Hey, I trust Cody. If Cody says he's going to be here, he's going to be here. Basically what he said. So it's funny because I'm thinking Randy's got to come out with everybody else. They're not going to start the match. And then Randy comes out later. Are they? Like my roommate even asked me that. He's like, what? They're all going to get in the cage. They're going to start the match. And then Randy's going to come out as the last person later. I'm like, they wouldn't do that really, would they? That's too obvious. And that's what they did. They did the obvious thing. I didn't like the whole Randy showed up last minute thing. I think that's played out and kind of just dumb. Especially because he's seen his wife in the crowd. But Priest and McIntyre stared at each other. As Balor was like, I'm going to start this match. He got in the ring first. Rollins also started for his team. Orton wasn't there, so they just started without him. There were chants for CM Punk and boos at the same time. The crowd sang Rollins' song as he entered. He played it up like he usually does, but then suddenly was attacked by Balor as the match began. Rollins took the advantage early on over Balor until JD McDonough came in and they teamed up on him. They attacked Rollins with kendo sticks. There was chance for tables and then chance for CM Punk. Jey Uso entered next. Oh, also. So Jay comes out for his entrance before the match starts. And I told my roommate, I'm like, man, if Jay was able to get in the ring and do his thing, it would be great with these 17,000 fans when he does the hands. And so Jay gets on the top of the shark cage. He like scampers up there really fast and is just, and you see 17,000 people doing the arm flat with Jay. And he's like, everyone's doing it. God, they picked the right Uso. I don't think Jimmy would be able to get over as big as Jay. I'm just going to say it. Jimmy, sorry, but Jay's the better Uso. So Jay enters next, and the crowd woke up. Because every time he hit a strike, yeet, yeet, yeet. Jay was doing well until McDonough hit him with a standing Spanish fly. Rollins and Jay worked together to regain the advantage, though. The next member of the Judgment Day came out. It was going to be Drew McIntyre, and Priest goes, whoa. Remember what we said. We're going to keep to the plan. And Drew's like, whose plan? He's like, the plan. I got this. Rollins and Jay fought off the numbers advantage momentarily, but Priest used a metal baton to get the advantage for his team. A relatively small group of fans kept chanting for CM Punk. Sami Zayn then went enter next. McDonough tried to attack with a kendo stick, but Zayn grabbed it and used it on him instead. Also, I like JD McDonough's hair the way it was tonight. Usually his hair looks like it's just flopping everywhere. The way it was like braided up and stuff looked really good on him. Zayn then slammed the door on Balor's face too at one point. Zayn woke up the crowd for a second time by grabbing a table. Crowd chanted, "Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Sammy." Zayn then grabbed a conveniently placed pipe up at the top of the cage and used it on Judgment Day. McIntyre would enter next. He suplexed Zayn and Rollins before turning his attention to Jay. Jay fought him off for a moment before McIntyre hit a neckbreaker. Jay and Zayn then teamed up and gave the 1D to McIntyre. Cody would enter next. Cole then talked about Dusty inventing war games. Rose hit a few moves and then pulled out a bull rope with a cowbell on it. Rollins grabbed one end of it and they worked together. Last person to enter, Dominic Mysterio. So Dom is in the shark cage all by himself, nobody else up there. And we hear a couple, "Hey, Dom!" We hear like one or two people yell, "Dom sucks!" or something like that is what it sounded like. Next person to come in, like I said, was Dominic Mysterio. And this place booed loud because they hate them some Dom. And it's awesome to hear. Dom used some Miz-level strikes before suplexing Rhodes. He tried 3 amigos, but was surrounded by the baby faces. Like he had, I forget who it was. It may have been Sammy or Cody. I can't remember. Like he's ready to go for a suplex. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, this ain't happening." I like that. They helped booted him and set up a table. They were going to put him through it, but Judgment Day saved him. There were some slight Randy chants that were followed by Punk chants. And the time started to wind down. Judgment Day and McIntyre each took turns hitting big moves on the baby faces. Countdown finally hit 0. No members left of Rhodes. Team Rhodes, nobody. And then all of a sudden we hear Rhea Ripley's music hit. Rhea runs down to the ring with Jessica Carr, the referee, and the Money in the Bank briefcase. We think that, oh my God, they're doing the thing. Damian Priest is about to cash in inside of War Games. She gives the briefcase to Jessica Carr. Jessica Carr goes to hand it to Mike Rome to say that they're cashing in, and then we hear, I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. They understand. They talk to me. And out comes the Viper, Randy Orton. They talk to me. Yeah. Randy Orton makes his way out to the ring. He methodically, slowly, but surely gets down, enters the cage, grabs the door behind him, slams it. It bounces back open. He's like, close the damn door. He like yells something about close the damn door. And he goes wild. Crowd's going crazy. Orton gives Balor a draping DDT. Orton and McIntyre then face off. Michael Cole tells us, oh my God, a huge rivalry rekindled. These guys have fought in ambulance matches, Hell in a Cell matches, and all other kinds of matches. The encounter is stopped, though, when Priest attacks Orton from behind. The babyfaces then jump into that side of the ring to save Orton, who's being beat down by Judgment Day. Then Judgment Day ends up all in the middle. Orton then grabs one, looks at everybody else, like, grab him, grab him. They all grab. They set up for the draping DDT. Orton then yells, 1, 2, 3, boom! Everyone hits draping DDTs. Great look, great look. I love this. I thought this was really great. Orton then set up for an RKO, but seemed to draw his attention to Jey Uso instead. So Randy's sitting there, and I think he's looking at Dom, and he's like, oh, 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 oh. And he looks at Jey, and Jey kind of gets up, and Jey's like, and Randy's like, I haven't forgot. I haven't forgotten. He looks over and boo, RKO's to, I want to say it was Dom. No. I'm wrong. He's looking at Jey. Priest then runs over, and Jey super kicks Priest. He then hits his RKO. McDonough was then the last man standing for the Judgment Day team. He couldn't escape. He tried to escape. But when he got to the top, so did Sammy, and so did Seth. This was great. So JD's stuck at the top. Sammy's on one side, Seth's on the other side. Randy gets over, gets into the other ring, looks up and goes, I want him. I said, no, they're not. He's like, I want him right here. I said, they're going to throw JD off this cage, and Randy's going to catch him in a, yup. JD McDonough comes flying off the cage. Randy then, poof, RKO, and there we go. Great visual. I get it. Randy probably can't do it like he has done it in the past, like with the Seth RKO at WrestleMania 31, when Seth gets thrown in the air and Randy jumps up and then hits the RKO. Randy ain't jumping to hit that RKO anymore. It's more of just a fall. But great visual here regardless. Great visual. Randy then, like he does after he hits his RKO. So he hits the RKO. Orton then shoves Priest into Rhodes. Rhodes hits the crossroads. Cody tells him, take it. Cody pins Priest to pick up the victory. So my thinking here logically is if Cody pinned Damian Priest, could we see Cody and Jey get another shot at the tag titles then? Since Cody himself pinned one half of the tag team champions, I think that could be an obvious direction to go. I mean, you're going to say we've seen that match 3, 4, 5 times already, but that's what we set up. That's what we got. Logically, with this booking, it makes sense. I get it. You don't want to see the same match over and over and over, but at least it's not the same match just for the hell of it. At least they booked a way to get to it if that's the route they're going. The match is over. The show is ending. The baby faces are in the ring. They're going like this. They're celebrating. Sammy and Jey, my dog, do their little handshake thing. They get the top a camera at the top of the building. It's zooming out. The thing on the bottom over here says trademark Survivor Series, WWE. Michael Cole then tells us, don't go anywhere. The Survivor Series post-show press conference will be coming up next on Peacock. And then we hear, and out comes CM Punk. CM Punk walks out, looks around, gets down, smacks the ground a bunch of times, looks at his wrist. It's clobbering time. Walks to the left side of the ramp, goes over there, lets the fans hug him, walks over back to the ramp, lets the other fans hug him. He's yelling, they're yelling, and the show goes off the air. Looking at Punk, you don't see anybody else. They don't show anybody else. I don't know if the cameraman knew to look at anybody else or knew what to do, but oh my God, CM Punk, just everybody keep their camera on Punk. And there we go. Show didn't end until that. But yeah, awesome main event, match of the night for sure. Great, great, great. And yeah, I loved it. I loved the show. I thought it was a really, really good Survivor Series. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But with that, and the main event did go 34 minutes and 50 seconds. But with that, now I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's show. So you can do so by calling in or texting in to 510-906-1341. Also hit the polls. Excuse me, we got polls on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter X. I got the hiccups. But let me know your thoughts, either in the chat, polls, with a call, with a text. The number is there on the screen, 510-906-1341. We're going to go check the polls right now, so let's refresh all of those. Come on. Why isn't this? There it goes. As far as the wow. Holy wow. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 100% liked the show. God dang. I knew it was going to be high, but not that high. And there was one comment that said it was amazing. As far as the YouTube community poll, 90% liked the show, 6% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like it. Some of the comments here says, loved it. Tonight was an amazing night. Versus the fact that CM Punk has come back to WWE makes me believe that there's a chance that AJ Lee could come back, even though the chances are very low. Yeah, I have no clue if she could or not. This person says, this was amazing. Watch this show. It is to top my list. Congratulations to everybody. Person says, it was the best Survivor Series I ever watched. Versus loved it 9 out of 10. Person says, great show. Versus for me, it was all right. Once Orton came in the match, became completely one-sided. The lost me right there. I wouldn't say it became one-sided, but yeah, I could see where you can think that. Because Judgment Day just got wrecked from there on out. Like, they got offense in, but not much. This person says, I wonder what CM Punk's first feud will be. It looks like Seth freaking Rollins versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Anyways, can't wait for Monday night on Raw to find out. So yeah, going to be great. As far as the YouTube live poll does go, 92% liked the show, 6% thought it was just all right, and 2% didn't like it. And as far as the Twitch poll, 100% liked the show. We do have one call coming in, so let's try and take that really fast. Caller, you're on the air. What did you think of Survivor Series? Caller, what did you think of Survivor Series? Not hearing him. Hello? Going once? Going twice? Nope. Well, that's a downer. We got a text message, though. This person says, the Seth segment was clearly a work because they both know they're about to make money, hand over fist, and money makes problems vanish. Not always. Not always. Money doesn't always make problems vanish, depending on what those problems are and how bad those problems are. So that's the thing right there. But we'll see where it all does lead to. We got a couple days till Raw. I assume Punk shows up on Raw. If it was me booking it, I'd have Punk open the show. I would have Punk be be the first thing we see when Raw. Like, I'd have him ready. Well, that's tough. I would say I'd already have him in the ring, kind of like with Drew this past Monday. But you want that his music hits and we get the pop on TV. So, yeah, they'd wait. But I think Punk needs to open up Raw and we go from there. But with that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Now, if we do hear anything else pertaining to CM Punk, pertaining to the Seth Rollins stuff, pertaining to the Drew McIntyre stuff over the next couple of days, we will let you guys know on the PWU Unlimited YouTube channel. Oh, we got a call coming in. Let's see if this one works. Caller, you're on the air. What'd you think of Survivor Series? And they hung up. Never mind. So with that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one.